My name is Jose Luis Robles II. This is for my DFM 307 class, Directing 2, and the title of my film is called A Toy Project. Shooting this 13-scene screenplay has been quite the experience. At first I suspected that all the planning that goes into being a director restricts creative aspects. Only doing the shot lists, the location scoutings, all the prep work, to sum it up, was I able to see that you actually have more opportunities to be more creative through doing the work of the shot list and the camera angles and all the various reports that you have to do. So working with the children was one of the more difficult things I had to do, and then trying to direct their certain body movements to line up with the emotional need of that scene or shot was also difficult. We took many takes in order to get the right one. Something really cool that happened on the set was in the scene where I was outside. It's another emotionally charged scene where the father gets really angry. I had my wife holding the camera because I wanted that little bit of camera shake to reflect the character's emotional state. Well, the scene called for me to have an uprise or an uproar in anger where I get up from the table and grab my phone and throw it across the lawn. And I did such a good job of acting that anger that my wife, holding the camera, was startled at how angry I was. So she kind of jolts the camera up as my character goes up, and she does a great job at following me. And I love that her reaction while holding the camera is hopefully what the audience will feel. Working with actors, it's really enjoyable. It's more enjoyable than I thought. When I would see videos of people directing and they would say working with talent, I was tentative because I wasn't sure how to walk that line of being able to support and also correct. Working with my children and working with my wife, there was just a ton of trust, a ton of camaraderie. They wanted to help me shoot this project as much as I wanted them to be in the project. So it let us have an amazing back and forth dialogue between what their characters could do better, what their characters can do less of. And I just opened it up to them many times. I said, well, what do you think your character would do in this scene? Actually, all of the dialogue that was written in the script, I pretty much flushed it out the window because I gave my actors their chance to say what their character would be doing. So a lot of the times I said, well, you're sad right now because of this. They don't know this, but your character knows this. What would you do in that situation? Action. The weather was another huge challenge because on our first day of shooting it was 97 degrees, but the real feel was 101 degrees. It was disgustingly hot. I was outside in the direct sunlight for 4 to 6 hours, carrying the heavy camera, moving the lights around, carrying the heavy microphone stand, and that was so exhausting. Another small moment where I wouldn't say combative, but my wife was going against the director, is I was telling one of my kids lines, which was, "Is Dad in a Kona?" And then my wife corrected and said, "Coma." And I looked at my wife and said, "It's Kona." I looked at my son and say, the line is Dad in a Kona? And she says, "It's coma, C-O-M-A." And she looks at him and says, "Coma." And I looked at my son again. I said, "Say the line as Kona." And then she looked at me, and then I looked at my other son and said, "Now your line is you walk past him and say, 'It's a coma, dummy. I'm going to the tree swing.'" Then my wife saw why I was incorrectly saying that word. That just goes to show, as a director, There are things that could be seen as back and forth combative, or you could see them as, that's just a little accident or a fluke. After we were done shooting that day, I did talk to her and say, hey, in the one incident where we kind of went back and forth, I said, that was you undermining the director. I said, for film, what we're working on, I said, it all has to come from me exactly as I say it, because I am the one orchestrating this whole narrative together. She saw exactly where I was coming from, apologized that she was undermining my directorial authority, and we just went back on having a great night. So, all in all, this was such a great experience because it allowed me to see myself as a director. Before this project, before writing the screenplay, there was nothing in me that wanted to be a director. I didn't want the responsibility. I didn't want the gargantuan task of creating a film. I thought cinematographer was playing it safe, or the lighting guys are playing it safe. Those are the jobs that I would get if I were to work on film. After shooting this short film, A Toy Project, it is making me fall in love with being a director, because I am encapsulated with the storytelling component of being a director. Everything is a tool at my disposal to create the sharpest narrative, the most exciting, the most sad, the most different narrative that I possibly can. So, because of that, I am thankful for this course and this assignment. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.